Speaking for every one of us here on the stage, we're so very happy to be back for our 24th season. We're very, very proud of that. Next year we'll be really celebrating. Thank you. Thank you. We're happy and we enjoy digging through old-time radio shows, and we come up with all kinds of things that we were interested in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. How many do not remember watching any old-time shows? That's the audience we want, you bet. Radio was such a big part until that little invention called television came through, where we had to sit and watch instead of just doing our regular chores and listen to the good stuff on radio. The Adventures of the Saint comes to mind when I'm thinking of old-time radios, and this show was in the 50s. The Saint was one of those detectives like Pat Novak, Richard Diamond, Johnny Dollar, Sam Spade, and I'm sure you can think of others. They were always solving the crime. It was usually a murder, maybe two, and they did it all within a half hour. Now on television, it takes a whole hour. No, not really, because most of it is commercials, right? Right. The first of two shows tonight, to start out our new season, is one of those dapper guys with the clever quip. It's one of the Saint's adventures, and it's called The Missing Bridegroom. Sit back now and let your imagination take you to February 10th, 1951, and the characters that author Leslie Charteris cooked up. The Saint.
The Adventures. Let's try that again. The Adventures of the Saint, starring Vincent Price. The Saint, based on characters created by Leslie Charteris and known to millions from books, magazines, and motion pictures. The Robin Hood of modern crime now comes transcribed to radio, starring Hollywood's brilliant and talented actor, Vincent Price as the Saint.
Taxi!
Porcelain lady, the name is Louis, but,
Oh, please hurry!
Okay, where to?
Oh, I don't care.
You don't, I don't like to mention this, lady, but I think you mislaid your groom.
What?
Of course, a girl getting married, maybe she's kind of excited, maybe she forgets a little something here and there, but, lady, not your husband.
But I'm not married.
Oh, look, you're all dressed up like a bride. You come running out of that church that was having a wedding there.
Oh, they thought they were, but, oh, I want Jimmy.
Now look, please, lady, don't cry. If I had Jimmy, I'd give him to you. Well, who's Jimmy?
Oh, I love him. And we were going to get married, and I went to the church, and everybody was there except...
Jimmy.
Except... Oh, I called everywhere. Oh, I know something must have happened to him.
Uh-huh. Well, for a girl in your position, you know what I think you need?
What?
A saint. Hey, Mr. Templar, I hope you don't mind our barging in like this,
Oh, of course not, Louis.
but you see, this here is,
Oh, I'm Carol Blair.
Miss Blair. But by this time, she's supposed to have been Mrs.
Schneider.
Yeah, but she ain't on account of Mr. Schneider didn't show up at the altar.
Miss Blair, please sit down.
Oh, thank you.
Here, have a handkerchief.
Oh, I don't want a handkerchief. I want Jimmy.
I don't have Jimmy. I might perhaps try to find him.
Oh, Mr. Templar.
Whether I can or not is something else again. However, have you thought of the possibility that he might have changed his mind about matrimony?
Oh, no, he wouldn't have. He loves me.
Well,
Oh, Mr. Templar, there's nothing that could have kept Jimmy from marrying me. Nothing except death. Oh, thank you for bringing me home, Mr. Templar.
you're very welcome, Carol.
Oh, and I'm sorry I cried so much.
I'll call you as soon as I have any news. Good night.
Yup. Miss Blair lives in a very mansion-type mansion.
So she does. Well, let's go, Louis.
Okay. Where to?
James Snyder's apartment.
Aha. You think maybe he overslept?
I doubt it.
Hey, Mr. Templar, I read a book once.
I wouldn't brood about it, Louis.
Well, listen, in this here book, a girl's fella don't show up to marry her on account of he's dead. You know, on account of somebody killed him.
Well, that would explain why he's dead, all right.
Well, the girl says, zounds. In those days, girls used to say zounds.
Yeah, that ain't what Miss Carol Blair said.
She didn't read the book.
Probably too busy clipping her coupons.
Oh, she's loaded, huh?
She is loaded.
Well, money isn't everything.
I wonder if that's what James Snyder thought.
Huh? Oh, yeah, Miss Blair told us he was broke. Hey, I got a solution.
Yes, Louis?
Maybe he got a job. Now, this here's a very fancy type hallway, Mr. Templar.
So it is. Gaudy, but not neat. 1C, 1C. Oh, here it is.
How can a guy with no dough afford to live here?
Well, we'll ask him if he answers that doorbell.
He's in.
Hello?
Ooh, except he's a she.
Good evening. May we come in?
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Templar, maybe she's why Snyder didn't show up.
I think we stop here, no?
Yes, Miss,
I am Marie.
Oh, Marie, this is Louis.
Hello?
Yeah.
And I'm Simon Templar.
Ah, you are the saint.
I'm afraid I am. Spending the winter here?
In this apartment? Oh, right now I read the book, you see?
A book on American history. You're a student?
What do you think?
I think you graduated. Why the book then?
Well, I'm not so long in this country, and I wish to learn about
The American people?
American men.
Well, we're not that much different than the Frenchmen.
Maybe so, but it's the little difference that counts, no?
Perhaps. You know there are better ways of learning than from books. Why don't you ask Jimmy?
He is out.
Is he?
Yes, he's marrying himself. Oh, no. it's not right what I am saying. He is marrying a girl.
That's the usual. You don't mind?
I don't mind.
But sometimes close friends of the groom do. They say things like, what on earth does he see in her?
But I am knowing what he sees in her.
Be careful.
$1 million. It's not bad.
He's fine. Well, that is, Carol is a very pretty girl, too, despite her $1 million.
Who cares?
Of course, you'll probably laugh, and, are you Jimmy's sister? I thought so, but if you're not his sister, you must be...
You look very pretty in red, Simon, but it is not necessary to blush. I am Jimmy's
Whoops. Kiddies, time for bed.
Wife.
You said wife?
Wife. Excuse me, huh? Hello? Oh? He's not here. Mr. Templar is. Goodbye. It was a doorman. I was saying...
You said you are Jimmy's wife.
It's true.
But then, if he'd married Carol, it would have also been bigamy.
Oh, we were divorced in Mexico last year.
So you're not his wife.
I am fine. The lawyer said divorce not so good. So now, Jimmy marry a rich girl and maybe Jimmy give me a big present,
Big present. There's another name for it.
Is so?
Is so. The other name is blackmail.
Oh, you are a funny man.
I haven't been trying.
Maybe you go away now, huh?
Marie,
Oh,
I have news for you.
what kind of news?
Jimmy didn't show up at the altar.
You make the joke once more.
No joke.
It's terrible.
Which means that Jimmy hasn't married that $1 million yet.
Oh, I think the poor girl who waits at the altar, I almost cry for her.
Your eyes are dry.
I said almost. Goodbye.
You want to be alone?
From you, yes. Goodbye also to you.
Oh, well, thanks for remembering me in time to say goodbye. Hey, Mr. Templar?
We're leaving, Louis, except, Marie, if you happen to run into Jimmy,
Yes.
advise him to be very careful.
Oh,
Today, he's left one woman at the altar and another in his apartment. It'd be safer juggling dynamite.
About Marie's character, I got nothing to say. But about her figure,
Louis,
I also got nothing to say. But, oh, I can dream. Hey, it's dark.
it usually is this time of night.
I know, but it don't hurt to mention it. Back to the cab?
I suppose so.
Hey, you Templar?
Me?
Yeah.
Who wants to know?
Who's asking you?
You are.
So figure it out.
All right. You got a pencil and paper, maybe?
A wise guy.
If you don't mind me intruding, I'm Simon Templar.
Well, thanks for telling me so that
Hey, you can't...
I did. Now don't move too quick. Him I gave the butt, but it's you I'm pointing the business end. Get in the car.
Not just yet. If you hurt Louis...
You want to get shot?
Not especially. First, I'm going to look at Louis. Oh, he's unconscious. Hey, what's the idea?
All I wanted was you. So let's get going, huh?
But Louis...
From what I gave him, he'll wake up. But you won't, if you won't get in the car.
Very well. Your name would be,
Dugan.
Well, you already know mine. Hey, where are we going?
That's what you're going to tell me.
I am?
Yeah. because we're on our way to visit Jimmy Snyder.
You tell me.
Just so happens his present address slips my mind, so give, huh?
Or else?
No. Tonight we don't play. Tonight is for keeps. Take me to Snyder. Nobody likes to die. This is where you live, huh?
Not quite yet. Hallways are so drafty. Thank you.
Snyder's in your apartment?
We'll be inside in a moment.
Hold it.
Hold what?
Shut up. Okay. Move slow. Straight ahead.
You, mean now that you cased the joint?
I mean, I wanted to get that light on. Now, Templar.
Yes?
I don't see Snyder.
Hey, now that you mention it, I don't see him either.
You could overdo that light stuff.
You really think so?
Where is he?
I don't know, but he might be along at any moment.
Yeah?
Why not?
How'd you like a slap in the eye?
Put your gun down and try it.
Why, you...
Hey, careful. Besides, would Maria approve of your language? Hey, not to mention your tactics.
Well, she don't have to. I'm the one giving the orders, and...
Thank you.
Huh? For what?
For telling me that you're the person she spoke to over the phone a little while ago back in Snyder's apartment. Explains how you happened to know I was there.
Forget it. Now, what I want to know is when is Snyder going to show here?
Of course, he may have misled his timetable.
Yeah?
Yeah, or perhaps even his life.
Hey, Templar.
Yeah?
I'm beginning to think that Snyder maybe ain't gonna show.
In the beginning, it shows promise. In time, you may have lots of little thoughts of your own.
You said that...
I said that he might be along. I offered no guarantees.
Nobody's offered a guarantee on your life.
Sheer oversight.
You could be playing me for a dope.
Oh, good heavens, no. Are you a dope?
Where's Snyder?
Well, men who have just been married usually spend the time immediately thereafter.
No. He ducked the church.
That's interesting, but how did you know?
I know.
But something else, however, that you don't know.
What's that?
The door behind you is just being sneaked open. Very, very softly. Oh, I amuse you?
Oh, you kill me. You're so funny.
You exaggerate. I'm not the only one who may kill you. There's a revolver barrel poking its snout around the edge of that door, pointing its aim at you.
I ain't taking my eyes off of you, mister.
I don't suppose there's anything I could say that would stop that little stranger from shooting, whoever he or she is. I do dislike having my home used as a shooting gallery, though. Neighbors complain. Well, Mr. Dugan, would you mind going away and being shot someplace else?
I'm staying right here and...
Get out of my way!
No.
Oh, you fool! I want to go after whoever shot you!
No. It's a trick. Some kind of trick. You moved.
Side.
Hello, Lieutenant. This is Simon Templar.
Lieutenant Archer just grabbed his Nash for a quick trip up the River Amazon.
But Lieutenant Archer hasn't got a Nash.
He's doing it the hard way. Good night.
Lieutenant.
Yeah?
Look, stop gnashing your teeth and guess what I've got?
I wouldn't want it. I'm a married man.
His name used to be Dugan, Anthony Dugan.
I don't like him.
Someone else didn't like him harder, and now he's dead.
Where?
In my apartment.
Is the killer there too?
Sorry, no.
Well, get in touch with me when you do.
All right, Lieutenant.
I'll be right down, Simon.
All right, well, we'll be waiting.
He doesn't make a pretty corpse.
He makes a very dead one, though.
Friend of yours?
Listen, Lieutenant, neither of us really care.
Yeah, Oh, company, Simon.
Who? Oh, Louis.
Louis, he says.
That's what he said.
Louis, you're not hurt.
No. In my family, everyone goes around with two heads.
Well, There was nothing I could do.
Hang out with the saint and see Johns Hopkins from a bottle. Mr. Templar, where is that hooligan? I'm gonna... Oh, that's him?
Yes, Louis.
But he ain't breathing.
No, Louis.
Oh.
Lieutenant,
Yeah?
Louis and I have an errand. You mind us leaving?
Thanks for asking. So long.
Goodbye. Louis,
Coming. But to where?
I think perhaps it's time we visited Carol Blair.
Aha. You think maybe she needs help?
Help or an alibi?
Looks like the mansion is all closed up for the night.
I hope not.
Maybe she's asleep.
If she is, she hasn't read the right books. Woman who's just been left at the altar never sleeps.
What's the matter? They don't get sleepy?
I have nothing but nothing to say to the press.
Who's he?
I don't know.
To me, he looks like an outfielder. From left field, I might add.
Louis. I beg your pardon. You, sir, would be,
Theobald A. Blair.
what does the A stand for?
Adder cheese. And you may make all the jokes. While I shut the door, good night.
We are coming in, Mr. Blair. Thank you.
Who's inside?
You're Carol's father?
Uncle, young man. Uncle. And who are you?
Simon Templar. And this is Louis.
Huh?
Tonight, everybody goes, why does he have to use a question mark for me?
Your niece asked me to help her, Mr. Blair.
Carol is a young idiot.
Youth has no monopoly on idiocy.
I'm almost squelched. Something that hasn't happened to me in years.
How about an offer of employment?
The last one I received was in the early 30s. Since then, no one's been vulgar enough to, that is hardly your concern, is it?
It might be. By the way, Marie sends her love.
Good heavens, sir. Not here.
I beg your pardon?
Well, we're men of the world, true, but still.
Then you knew Jimmy was married.
Would you like a spot of something?
Sure.
I'm afraid we're temporarily out of that commodity.
Dugan is dead, Mr. Blair.
Indeed. How pleasant to discover that thugs like him are mortal.
Were you the one who tested his mortality?
He was murdered? Mm-hmm. No doubt whoever murdered him did so with the best of intentions. It wasn't I, however.
You haven't asked me where Jimmy is.
You haven't implied that you know.
Do you?
No.
You want to know?
Of course I do.
In order to test his mortality?
Nonsense! I wanted Jimmy to marry Carol. I wanted it very badly.
Uncle, I heard. Oh, Mr. Templar.
And Louis, I'm keeping the franchise open.
Hello, Louis.
Hello.
I hope you weren't asleep.
Oh, no, I couldn't. Oh, I assume you haven't found Jimmy?
No, I did find Marie, however.
Who is Marie?
Uncle Theobald can tell you, probably with more detail than I would know.
Uncle?
She, well, that is, she used to be, well, friendly with Jimmy at one time.
Friendly?
Well, you might say that. As a matter of fact, she carried it to the extent of marrying him.
Oh, no! Oh, Uncle, you're joking!
Now. My dear, perhaps you'd better lie down.
Uncle, I've warned you time and time again. I'm not a child.
I never thought you were.
Oh, Mr. Templar, it isn't true, is it?
That Jimmy was married? I'm afraid it is.
But he can't be. Otherwise, why would it...
Been married, ready to marry you? He was under the impression that he had been divorced from his first wife.
And the divorce wasn't any good.
So it seems.
Then Jimmy did love me.
Well, Jimmy would be the best to answer that. Which reminds me, Louis and I have another errand to perform.
What errand?
I can't tell as yet whether it would be a matter for the police or the medical examiner.
Mr. Templar,
Worried.
you're excited.
I'm very worried.
What about, Marie?
Yeah, that's why we're ringing her doorbell. No answer. Locked. I don't like that. Not much of a lock.
Don't look now, but you just ruined that lock.
Not important. What is important is...
Oh, Marie's dead.
blood on her nightgown. She's dead.
Shot, huh?
Yeah, close range. Trail of blood leads from the couch there to this overturned end table.
You mean she crawled all that distance?
Whoever shot her left her for dead, right by the couch. She wasn't quite dead. She fell to the floor, managed to reach the end table, knocked it over, and then...
Yeah, and started to read a magazine or something. Because there's one right under her head.
Not read.
No?
Actually, she tore a page out. That's all she was able to do.
No writing on it?
No, which means, let me see. One side's the back cover, the other is a full-page advertisement for Hamilton watches.
Maybe she wanted to know what time it was? A bad joke, but I don't feel good.
She was trying to tell us something about that ad, something about her murderer.
Hey, maybe the guy who shot her was a watchmaker, huh?
Possibly that. More obviously that his name was Hamilton. As far as we know, there's no Hamilton connected with the case. It would be stretching coincidence too far anyway. A ready-made clue like that, now, well, it'll have to wait.
Calling the cops?
They can wait. Here, I'm calling the Blairs.
You to let Carol know her husband is now a widower?
I want to find out who's home.
Hello?
Carol, Simon Templar.
Oh, Simon, you found Jimmy?
Not exactly. Carol, is your uncle in?
No, he went for a walk in the park. He was just so upset at me.
Thanks, Carol. Goodbye. Come on, Louis.
Where are we going?
We're upset too, so let's make it the park.
You know, this happens to be a very dark park.
No sight of Uncle Theobald.
Mr. Templar, you think there's something phony about him taking a walk this time of night?
Phony? Not necessarily. Let's call it dangerous.
No, nervous. Let's not. Maybe he used to be a watchmaker.
That's possible.
Mr. Templar, I just thought of something else. You kind of stopped looking for Jimmy Snyder. You think it's hopeless?
I don't know. Other things to worry about first. It's Snyder. If he's still alive...
You wouldn't bet on that, huh? Hey, look, up ahead by the side of the road.
Yeah, Theobald.
He's waiting for the traffic lights to change. Not many cars driving around this park at this time of night, though.
There is one parked down the road a bit. Come on.
Yeah, the lights changed. He's starting to cross.
There's the car. Theobald! Theobald!
He ain't heard ya. He's out in the roadway.
Theobald!
The car hit him.
No lights, no license plate.
Is he dead?
No, the car just sideswiped him.
Oh.
Theobald.
Yeah. Bad driving.
No, murderous driving. That car tried to kill you. Theobald, we'll get an ambulance for you. You'll be all right, but I've got to know something. Do you have a place of your own besides Carol's house?
Yes. I keep a small room It's a vanity of mine, but it belongs to me. 19 Terrace Place, apartment 3. Have fun and...
Oh, he's fainted. Louis, go get help for him. I'll wait here till you get back, and then...
Yeah?
And then we'll remember the forgotten man.
This here ain't a very elegant dump.
Louis, I'm worried.
About who's killing everybody?
No, I think that's fairly clear.
Oh, you speak for yourself, John.
But Marie's dying action, it puzzles me. That ad for watches, it seems to point nowhere, just adds an unnecessary complication.
Well, for me, all complications are unnecessary. You know, Mr. Templar, maybe what you need is a secretary.
A what?
All I said was a secretary.
Louis, I love you.
What? Look, this is my busy weekend, please.
Here's apartment 3.
Oh, this is where he hangs out when he ain't being rich.
Hey. Hey,
Yeah?
from back there. This closet.
Don't look now, but that must be Jimmy Snyder, all tied up and gagged.
You're quite right, Louis.
Well, I better untie him.
No, Louis.
Huh?
You'd better make a phone call.
Who to?
The police. Mr. Snyder can untie himself without too much difficulty, I suspect.
Hey, he got a hand free.
I rather thought he would. I'll take that gun and...
You felt you had to do that?
Of course.
He wasn't tied up very good.
No.
But, okay, I'll call the police. But what'll I tell them?
To come and pick up Mr. James Snyder, vanishing bridegroom and murderer.
Oh, Simon, I don't understand. How could it have been Jimmy?
Well, he was married to Marie. Marie and her happy little triggerman Dugan were preparing to blackmail him as soon as he married you, Carol. Jimmy didn't care for the program, and so...
So he killed him.
Right, Louis.
Oh.
So your uncle also knew. So that meant that he too would have to die. But Jimmy tried to arrange it so that Theobald's death would seem to be an accident. After he had ran him down in the park, he went to Theobald's apartment and tied himself up. He knew someone would find him there shortly.
And everybody would have thought that Uncle had killed Marie and Dugan. Simon, how did you know?
Marie. She was murdered in her living room. She was wearing a nightgown at the time. It's hardly likely she would have received any ordinary visitor in that state.
Except the husband, Jimmy.
Right, Louis.
Only now, look, what's the business with the watch ad?
Well, we know that Marie, dying, tore a page out of a magazine, obviously because that page contained an indication of who had killed her.
Wait a minute. All that page contained was an ad for Hamilton watches.
No, you're forgetting something, Louis.
Huh?
What was Marie doing the first time we met?
She was, she was reading a book.
About?
American history.
I remembered that. And then when you mentioned the word secretary...
Yeah, this I mentioned all right.
I knew whom she named as her murderer.
Aha! I still don't know.
Louis.
Yeah?
In American history, who was Alexander Hamilton?
Oh, the Pilgrim Father.
No.
Pilgrim's son? Who?
Alexander Hamilton was the first secretary of the Treasury.
Aha. So,
who's the secretary of the Treasury today?
Oh, well, that's a guy named, wait a minute, let me look at a dollar bill. Oh, yeah. John W. Snyder.
Right.
And Jimmy Snyder was a suspect. So it goes to show people ought to read American history.
Oh, Oh, you know, Marie was awfully bright. I'm not. Oh, I feel terrible, Simon.
You needn't, Carol. You'll get over Jimmy.
Do you think so, Simon? How?
Well, Louis,
Yeah? Oh, yeah, Mr. Templar?
please go take a cab,
You've been listening to another transcribed adventure of the Saint, the Robin Hood of modern crime. Now, here's our star, Vincent Price.
This is Vincent Price, inviting you to join us next week at the same time for another exciting adventure of the Saint. Good night.
And now, since Vincent Price and company really can't be here in person, I'd like to introduce you to tonight's cast. The young almost wife that was poor Donna Amesmeyer. Her Uncle Theobald, whatever Blair, was played by our Andre Dixon. Simon Templar was none other than Brad Zero, with his ever-present sidekick, cab driver Louis, played by Jay Summerfield. Sheldon Leonard, that quintessential gangster of yesteryear, also known as Dugan for tonight, was our gangster, Mark Fazio. While Lieutenant Archer, on the other side of the law, was Marty McNulty. Who, by the way, also did our sound effects so effectively. And Jimmy, the missing bridegroom, had a huge part in tonight's play. He moaned on cue. That was also Marty McNulty. The announcer, the little French wench, that was me, Catalina Juarez. I thank you very much. And now take a few minutes to stretch a bit and perhaps talk to one another. Next month, we will have the list of the season's programs to come. We'll be back in a few minutes.